Imagine waking up one day, checking your bank account, and seeing nothing. Imagine pouring your life savings, your precious time, and your deep trust into a business that promises you absolute financial freedom. And then, the devastating realization hits you. You are mathematically guaranteed to lose it all from the very beginning. Listen to this. According to data from the Federal Trade Commission, in just one recent year, people reported losing nearly $8 billion to various investment scams. $8 billion, and the median individual loss? Over $10,000. That is money stolen from families, from retirement funds, from college savings. Today, we're looking at a very specific, highly deceptive trap. It's a trap that hides right in plain sight, disguising itself as a legitimate opportunity. Welcome to the Fraud Files, where we expose real scams and protect Americans like you. Today's case file could save you thousands of dollars. Let's get right into it. We're going to dive into this explainer and completely unpack the extremely blurry line between legitimate network marketing and illegal pyramid schemes.
You've almost certainly received a direct message on social media that looks exactly like this. Hey girl, I know we haven't talked in a decade, but you would love these products and could make a substantial income selling them too. It pops up in your inbox completely out of the blue, promising financial freedom, flexible work, and the chance to be your own boss. According to the Department of Defense's Financial Readiness Program, these messages usually come from someone you haven't spoken to in years. But let me tell you what actually happens. Take Kara. She's a 28-year-old military spouse living in Texas. Kara was isolated, managing 2 young kids all by herself while her husband was deployed overseas, and she was feeling vulnerable. Then she got this exact message. Over the next 5 months, step by step, Kara was drained of $4,000. It left her family struggling just to pay rent, and it left her emotionally devastated. The pitch is always identical. They promise you're going to love the products so much you'll just naturally want to sell them, and that you can make massive income directly from your smartphone.
Let's be very clear about something. These scammers know exactly who they are hunting. They deliberately prey on demographics who are desperately looking for community and supplemental income. We're talking about stay-at-home parents, military spouses, students, and young professionals. They look at you and they see a target. Maybe you want a flexible work schedule so you can stay home with your children. Maybe you need a portable career because your family faces frequent military relocations. Or maybe you're a student drowning in debt, just desperate for a side hustle to keep your head above water. They take those very real, very valid desires and they exploit them. They present their opportunity as the ultimate solution. They lure you in with fancy onboarding kits, exclusive training, and the promise of life-changing mentorship, all while praising your entrepreneurial spirit. Section 1. MLM or pyramid scheme. Knowing the exact difference between a legal business and a criminal enterprise is absolutely critical here. Because confusing the two, that is exactly what these fraudsters are banking on. Let's start with the baseline. A multi-level marketing company, or MLM, is actually a perfectly legal business structure. It's based on direct sales to consumers. There are globally successful companies that have built massive, legitimate networks using this exact model. The core concept is totally straightforward. You earn your income by selling real products or services directly to actual retail customers who are outside of the organization. Legally speaking, the focus must be on generating revenue through real, tangible goods that actually offer genuine value to the public. That is how a legal business operates. Now, when you recruit other people into this legal business, they become what's known as your downline. And yes, you do earn a portion of their genuine product sales. You might host sales parties, you might sell from your living room, or you might market products online. You receive commissions not only from the direct sales you make, but also from the sales generated by the people you personally brought into the company. In a totally legitimate legal multi-level marketing plan, there are typically 3 or more levels of participants. But here's the absolute key. The compensation is strictly legally tied to actually supplying and selling products to consumers. But then we have the pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is a fraudulent criminal system that intentionally disguises itself to look exactly like a legal MLM. But the reality? It relies almost entirely on taking money from new recruits. This is exactly where the trap snaps shut on you. Listen to how the New York State Attorney General defines it. A pyramid scheme is a fraudulent system of making money based on recruiting an ever-increasing number of investors. The initial promoters, sitting pretty at the very top, absolutely require a massive, constant, endless base of later investors at the bottom just to support the whole house of cards. They don't actually care if anyone is buying the product. They don't care about retail. They only care about extracting recruitment fees and forcing mandatory purchases out of your pocket. So if you want to know how to tell them apart, the crucial difference comes down to this right here.
A legal business pays you based on retail sales to actual real-world customers. A pyramid scheme pays you just for recruiting more bodies into the system. Now, the line between these two can be incredibly, dangerously blurry. That's why regulators all across the globe are constantly cracking down on these operations. Scammers will use products, sometimes even products you've actually heard of or seen before, solely as a smokescreen to sidestep regulatory agencies and create this grand illusion of legitimacy. But hear me on this. If the real money only comes when you convince your friends and family to sign up under you, you are looking straight at a scam.
Another way these fraudsters try to hide their illegal recruiting fees is through a nasty little practice called inventory loading. This is where they practically force you to buy massive amounts of unsellable products just to maintain your active status in the company. You might be required to buy huge, expensive boxes of leggings or essential oils or dietary supplements at regular monthly intervals. And the company doesn't care if you already have a garage packed full of inventory that you literally cannot sell. To qualify for your promised bonuses, or sometimes even just to get your basic paycheck, you have to keep buying. It is a vicious cycle that drains your bank account and leaves you desperately, frantically trying to offload completely useless products.
Section 2. The illusion of profit. Let's peel back the curtain on these extravagant promises. The promoters are always showing off exotic vacations, flashing stacks of cash, and claiming you're going to retire your spouse and quit your day job. But what actually happens when we look at the cold, hard data? Here is the reality check. According to FTC data and multiple independent sources, up to 99% of people who join these organizations don't actually make any money at all. Let that sink in for a second. 99%. You have a 99% chance of making absolutely nothing, or much, much worse, going into severe crippling debt. Once you're in, you might be pressured to pay repeated hidden fees for expensive training sessions, marketing materials, and mandatory monthly website hosting. And if you start using your personal credit card to finance these so-called business expenses, you are suddenly drowning in hefty interest charges on top of everything else. This brilliantly illustrates that stark reality. Almost the entire circle, the vast majority of participants, end up losing money or going into severe debt. Only that tiny, microscopic fraction at the very top actually turns a profit. And we have seen this exact scenario play out on a massive international scale. Over in Bangladesh in the early 2000s, a company called Destiny 2000 Limited attracted thousands upon thousands of investors from all walks of life. They promised incredibly high returns. But in 2012, the entire thing collapsed. It was exposed as a massive fraudulent scheme, causing catastrophic financial losses and completely destroying public trust in the region.
Now, what about that tiny 1% who actually do make some money? Even for those very few, like an experienced military spouse we'll call Jessica, it requires exhausting, backbreaking work. We're talking 18 to 20-hour workdays. It completely shatters the carefully crafted illusion of an easy, flexible, passive income. Jessica makes about $500 to $1,000 a month, working what she calls part-time, but she specifically warns that anyone claiming to make massive money is not just running a casual side hustle. No, they have thousands of social media followers, and they are quite literally working around the clock. That dream they sell you, working just a few hours from the beach while the money magically rolls in, it is a carefully constructed, dangerous fantasy. The ultimate mathematical truth of the matter is that pyramid schemes are destined to collapse. Always. They fail because you inevitably run out of new people to recruit in your community. Just think about the math for a second. If you need to recruit 5 people, and then they each need to recruit 5 people, and so on, you will literally exceed the entire population of planet Earth in just a few levels. It's unsustainable. The only people who actually make money are the few ruthless promoters at the very top, and they do it by directly siphoning the investments of everyone trapped beneath them. It is mathematically impossible for the majority of people in the system to succeed. Section 3, spotting the red flags. So, knowing all this, how do we spot the warning signs before we hand over our hard-earned cash? These fraudsters are highly manipulative, but they aren't ghosts. They always leave a trail. You just need to know exactly what to look for. I want you to screenshot this right now. Seriously, save this, because you need to know these 6 critical red flags. Number 1, if promoters pressure you to act immediately using high-pressure sales tactics. Number 2, if they make extravagant promises that you'll get rich quick. Number 3, if they demand large upfront inventory purchases just to start. Number 4, if there is an extreme emphasis on recruiting new distributors rather than selling products. Number 5,
if they use toxic pressure to keep you in line and obedient, and number 6, if they promise guaranteed returns on your investment. If you see any of these, you need to walk away, fast. Legitimate businesses do not rely on playing with your emotions or actively discouraging you from taking the time to study their financial statements.
As Jessica pointed out in our sources, the tactics can get incredibly invasive. If your so-called upline pressures you to relentlessly message your family and friends to hit arbitrary daily quotas, you are likely in a highly toxic and potentially fraudulent environment. The constant, unending drive to recruit new members creates a socially toxic dynamic that will strain and even break your relationships with the people you care about most. If your upline is demanding that you text your parents or your siblings or your high school friends to hustle products they clearly don't want, they are weaponizing your personal life for their own financial gain. Scammers are also incredibly sneaky with their branding. They use psychological tricks by renaming their schemes to sound professional. They'll call them gift programs or investment clubs. Be extremely careful here because participating in these can actually implicate you in tax fraud. The New York State Attorney General warns that promoters often target closely knit groups, think religious organizations, churches, or sports teams, specifically to increase the social pressure to join. They might assure you it's perfectly legal. They might even claim it's been approved by an accountant. They'll have you sign official-looking waivers characterizing your investment as an unconditional gift. But if everyone involved expects a payout from the people recruited beneath them, it doesn't matter what they call it, it is a clear, illegal scheme. Section 4. How to protect yourself. Now that we know exactly how these deceptive structures operate and how they hunt, let's look at the actionable steps you can take today to protect your wallet and your family. You do not have to be a victim. You have the power to investigate. Before you ever sign a piece of paper or hand over your credit card, there are 6 essential steps you must take to protect yourself. First, you need to methodically research the company. Look for public complaints and ongoing lawsuits. Second, you must interrogate the recruiter with tough questions about their actual retail profit versus their recruitment profit. Third, have a trusted, totally independent financial advisor or counselor review the contract. Fourth, demand to see their comprehensive income disclosure statements. Fifth, secure all of their refund and buyback policies in writing. And sixth, and this is absolutely crucial, never ever finance your entry into one of these businesses with a credit card. Do not be afraid to ask hard, specific, uncomfortable questions to the person trying to recruit you, because a legitimate business person, they will be able to answer them easily and professionally. Dig for the specific details, look them in the eye, and ask, have you borrowed money or used credit cards to fund your business? Ask them, what exact percentage of your income came from selling products to actual customers who are completely outside of the network? Ask, how many of the people you recruited are actually still active after 1 year? If they try to dodge these questions, or if they manipulate you by saying you're just being too negative or unsupportive, your alarm bells should be ringing at maximum volume. You also need to look very closely at the company's refund policy. Legitimate companies are legally required to buy back your unsold, marketable inventory for at least 80 to 90% of what you originally paid for it. Do not just take their word for it. Get the specific policy in writing before you buy a single product. Make sure you fully understand all the hidden restrictions and penalties. Because if a company refuses to repurchase your unsaleable products, or if they lack a standard buyback guarantee on reasonable commercial terms, they are explicitly violating the law. They are setting you up to take the entire financial fall when things go south. And let's be crystal clear about the stakes here. This isn't just about you losing your savings. Establishing, operating, or even just promoting a pyramid scheme is a criminal offense in the US and Canada. It carries massive legal consequences. Are these scammers actually getting caught? Yes, they are. Under the Competition Act in Canada, for example, individuals who contravene these criminal provisions can face up to 5 years in federal prison. And in the US, you can face massive legal fines of up to $200,000. Regulators worldwide are aggressively cracking down on these deceptive marketing practices. In fact, authorities often encourage people who find themselves caught up in promoting these illegal schemes to come forward and cooperate with ongoing investigations, potentially to receive immunity. The reality check is this: the fraudsters are out there watching for victims. But now, law enforcement is striking back hard. The next time a recruiter slides into your direct messages promising you financial freedom, passive income, and a dream life, I want you to ask yourself this final, critical question before you ever even think about opening your wallet. Are you building a legitimate business, or are you just buying into a costly, mathematically doomed illusion designed to steal your money? If you or someone you know has already been targeted by these predatory schemes, do not stay silent. Report it immediately to the authorities at reportfraud.ftc.gov or to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov. Please, take a second to share this explainer with your family and your friends to protect them from falling into this trap. Subscribe to the Fraud Files for daily scam alerts that keep you informed. Comment down below if this has happened to you or someone you know. Your story could save someone else. Stay alert, stay safe. The fraudsters are watching. But now, so are we.